Hi, everybody. My name's Jana. Thanks so much for joining me for another episode of Across the Board. In today's episode, I'm going to be speaking with a board game manufacturer in China.
Okay, so my name is Hirsch, and basically I own Hero Time Manufacturing or Hero Time Limited, which means I own a manufacturing plant in Wenzhou, China.
I wanted to get to know the owner a little bit.
I actually did not see the questions, so I'm just flying blind into this. I think it will
Okay.
come out all right. Yeah, I think it will actually be better because I don't like being prepared. You
Okay.
can just shoot whatever you want, and if I know, I know. If I don't know,
Okay.
uh,
Well, we're gonna
just
get along
just
great because I think we're a little opposite.
I pretty quickly realized that I liked Herschel. I liked his personality, but I also felt like he was very open and honest about his thoughts and his process.
I don't like the term CEO actually. It sounds too posh or too,
Okay.
this founder, owners, I prefer that.
I was really curious to find out why Herschel decided to open a board game manufacturing facility in China.
My brother, he's a creator, he's a designer, and he always has these amazing ideas for board games. And I was living in China. It was like 2016. I was living in China, and my brother just finished designing his board game, and he was asking me if I could manufacture it for him. And at the time, I didn't really know anything about what was going into the industry, like what goes into actual printing.
Yeah.
And so I had to like go between all these factories and try to learn how to manufacture a board game. And there was so many blogs online, so many people talk about it, but no, like I'm very, very specific. I like to know everything I do to the smallest detail. I micromanage everything, and that's the type of person. And then with the factories, I never felt like I actually feel comfortable. Even I'm there, I'm literally in the factory. I don't feel comfortable and safe with the work they do. So, um, so yeah, that was the beginning of me understanding that maybe this is the industry I need to get into. So I opened my doors in the end of 2019. Officially, it was
Okay.
the end of 2019. So we're fairly young.
I first heard about Hero Time Manufacturing when I did my initial research into Chinese manufacturing, when I was first learning about and thinking more about sustainability in the board game industry. And his website really stood out because his was the only one that actually had a tab for sustainable options right on his website. And then it listed everything that he was offering. So that seemed very unique to me, and I wanted to hear more about why he chose to do that.
The world,
Yeah.
for obvious reasons, obviously to take care of the environment,
Yeah.
and it's not that I'm like a freak. And it's not that not a freak, but it's not like I'm not like an activist
Mm.
for like climate friendly and eco friendly. I'm more in the policy of let everyone do whatever they do. Um, so, but this is what I do, and I saw no reason why production of board games will not be eco-friendly. The core one is the FSC,
Hmm.
because FSC is basically responsible foresting. Because we cannot use recyclable paper for printing. The paper is not high quality enough, is not white enough, is not strong enough. So you cannot use recyclable paper for printing. But what you can do is use the responsible foresting, where you cut down one tree and you plant a new one. So at least it keeps being sustainable for the long run. The quality of eco-friendly materials is
Hmm.
actually a lot higher. It's a lot more eco-friendly, it's more sustainable, and for the best part of it, and this was actually one of the reasons that pushed me to it also, was safety tests. Because
Mm.
especially when regulations started changing in customs, and you need to show your certificate that your game passed all the safety regulations. And at the time, the EU started with the REACH annex. Well, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but they really check like all the heavy metals. And then in the US, new regulations started. Um, they were checking lead. So I was like, okay, I need to find ink in
Hmm.
coding that will for sure pass no matter what, right? And then I was like, okay, let me find it. And the ink I found was water-based ink or
Mm.
water-based coding, or at least environment-friendly coding. And I was like, okay, it's an environment friendly and it allows me to pass all safety tests with ease. So it was a no-brainer for me.
Okay, well, I did want to follow up with the FFC certification that you have on your website. You actually have it available for people to look at. And FFC stands for Forest Stewardship Council. I saw that the certificate was the top part of it has a Russian certificate, so I'm assuming that's where the wood was
Correct.
sourced from. And then the
Correct.
bottom part says like FFC, and I looked up the number and everything that supplier offers. Are all FFC certificates like that, where it'll show like the Russian certification and then the FFC certification at the bottom?
Um, so Okay, first of all, for the certificate on the website, it's not the only certificate. So it's not the only supplier of paper we use. It's suppliers that we use the paper for cards because there are different types of paper also,
Okay.
and different types of cardboard. So it'll be like a chipboard and a paper and a card.
Okay.
The reason why that one is because wood is imported from Russia into China.
Mm-hmm.
So the FSC certifies the importer of wood from Russia, like the Chinese
Okay.
importer of wood, of the paper.
Okay.
So that's the first certification, and then the second one is the Russian council themselves that they do it. Yeah,
Okay. So it's the Russian FFC
it's
council, or it's
the
like
same
through.
FSC for both of them. It's just
Okay.
it's a Russian forestry.
Okay. Okay. It's a
Yeah.
Russian. Okay.
But not all of them. Depending if you do like in the US and you'll have an FSC for the US, it will be also.
What FFC products do you offer?
So it would be the chipboard, it will be the paper itself, it will be wood, like all the wood components that we do are also FSC. Yeah, basically everything that has paper in it, or like wood grain
Okay.
and whatever it is.
Would the board game come out of your factory with an FFC logo on the box?
It depends on the creator. If the creator wants to add it, he can add it. If not, I mean, it's up to them, basically. They can add it if they want.
If you're offering all FFC, why is Hero Time Manufacturing, why is your name not on the FFC certificate?
It's because I don't make the paper. I don't import the wood and I don't make the paper. I buy it from other people. And
Okay.
it actually goes, there are few, I mean, the supply chain is very long when you make paper. So you will have the forestry in Russia or even in China, there are some, and then you will have the importer of the wood, and then you have the actual paper factory. You have like 4 or 5 factories, and then they distribute, or they put all their merchandise in shops. And then you choose, I come as a manufacturer, I come to the shop and I was like, okay, you want to order 2 tons of this paper from this plant. So it's important for me to know that the paper that I get from that specific brand of paper is FSC certified. If I were big enough, it would have
Mm-hmm.
made sense. But I'm not, so like big enough, I mean, is like ordering 26 tons of paper every month,
Yeah.
which is a
Okay.
lot. And so I'm not that size. One of the things that I've changed a lot in the industry is standardizing all the materials and processes. That's why my prices, if I'm honest with you, even my regular prices are around 5% above like other Chinese manufacturers. Not the very famous ones, but like if you
Mm.
look at Magic Craft, Gameland, other manufacturers, my price is more or less around, I'd say 5%, maybe sometimes 10% higher. But that's because I really standardized everything. So
Okay.
I don't look per project what the project needs. I say this is what I have. This is the
Hmm.
paper I'm getting. Whether you like it or not, this is the paper I'm getting, and this is the price for it. Then if the producer or if the creator comes and says, Hirsch, I got that price for long pack. Give me the same price. I was like, okay,
Okay.
not much I can do about it.
So when you initially work with a publisher, are you automatically quoting them with FFC?
Yes, yes,
Okay. So we have FFC, we have water-based ink, and I think I saw something about your packaging options. Do you have
yeah.
like a non-plastic or biodegradable plastic for packaging?
Yeah, so first of all, there's biodegradable plastic for packaging. One of them is the biodegradable is a little softer. So it
Okay.
stretches a little more, it's a little softer. It doesn't seal the box 100%. Um, like
Will
it
it have like
seals
a
it.
little gap or
It will
something?
have maybe a little gaps, maybe an air bubble, maybe an extra
Okay.
air bubble in the corner. Wow, if there's too much space. Um, so it's a little softer. And yeah, but it looks the same. I mean,
Yeah.
also when maybe you experienced also sometimes when you open boxes, the shrink wrap sometimes like tears in a second, and then you have sometimes shrink wrap that you need to tear. It tears a little slower and a little quieter.
Okay. That's really helpful to be able to identify the difference between the biodegradable and now the biodegradable, is that something you could just throw in your compost pile, or is there a special way to um, get rid of that waste?
Just throw it away. It will. I mean, it will
Just
not
throw it
take
in the
5,000 years
garbage.
anyway. Yeah, just throw it in the
Okay.
garbage.
Okay. So it
There's
won't
no
last as
special.
long as your common polyethylene plastic, but it will not really work in a garden per se.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't
Okay.
plant it. Yeah.
Okay. No.
I think shrink wrapping a card is a waste of plastic. We started doing something new. Here are some games we've done it with. Um, you see a paper wrap, and we just
Mhm.
bought a new machine for that. So it's a paper wrap, and it sits pretty tightly on the game.
Mhm.
It's not going to open. It's not going to open. It's not going to tear. You just take it off, and it's actually made from recyclable paper. So
Cool.
you can,
Okay.
I mean, that's a small thing also that you can
Yeah,
do.
that's great. So you can do the paper bands. Have you found any problems with cards getting damaged after everything goes out?
People seem to think that they will get damaged, but I don't know why. I haven't found it. I mean, look at this box for example. If you do it properly, so the insert really holds the cards tightly. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
they're
it's
not gonna
snug.
move. I mean, this one is, yeah, if you had the paper band on it, it's not gonna move. So I don't know how they will get damaged. Uh,
Okay. Well, I guess
People,
some
people
people,
forget.
when they do really big print runs, like they'll find that they'll be rubbing and then like the front and the bottom and the top of the decks tend to get the worst of the wear. I just didn't know if that was feedback that you had received at all at this point.
I haven't.
Okay.
I haven't. I don't think. I mean, maybe it's poor coding.
Yeah. Oh, maybe.
It's also a possibility. Yeah.
I noticed that you offer Spot UV for the board game boxes. And I know that's like a huge trend right now, but ultimately Spot UV is a plastic added to the printing process. And when it dries, it's a microplastic. Is that something that you would take off your price list because then it would reduce like the negative impacts of microplastics?
So we have another issue. It's not only the UV, but it's also lamination.
Hmm.
And and this is something that maybe I don't know what to do about it because like if you really want to protect your board, your game, especially with a box, if you want it to be good for the next 10 years, you need to laminate your box. Um,
Is the
and
lamination a plastic additive or is it a water
It's a
base?
plastic.
It's a
It's a
plastic.
plastic additive. Yeah. And then if you want the dry erase option. So for example, for dry erase, the common theme in the industry is using the UV, very, very thick UV coating on on the paper. But that's very non-eco-friendly. So you can use like the glossy lamination, which I do. But yeah, it's always finding the balance between what you can let go of and I mean what you can replace with
Mm.
eco-friendly materials and then what you cannot. I mean, theoretically you can. So I've made pyramids of Kofu, totally eco-friendly. They wanted 100% eco-friendly. Their box, I coated it with water-based coating, and I've done like 2, 3 layers.
What about linen wraps? Is that something that you offer as a durable wrap that would be biodegradable, essentially?
What do you mean by linen wrap?
It's actual linen. Like if you would peel the wrap off the box, it would be very hard to rip because it's actual fibers, like cloth fibers that have been pressed into um, down to like a paper thickness. Like for example, Haba uses linen for all their box wraps. I could get a. Should I show you a box?
Yeah. Please,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
please.
I'll be right back.
I'm very intrigued.
It is just
Well, it looks like
wrapped
paper.
like a normal, yeah, like a normal paper. But when you feel it, it does have a like, especially when you see it in the light, there's texture there. But it isn't just the linen finish. It is actual linen.
And
So
they printed on that with such colors, with such
yeah.
beautiful, vibrant colors, and
So
it's kept for such a long time, properly.
yeah, it's very durable.
I'll
I
be more
wanted
than
to,
happy to research it. I mean, it sounds
yeah,
very
definitely.
interesting.
So far in our interview, I feel like we discussed a lot of nice, sustainable, or at least eco friendly options that he is happy to offer and feels that his clients deserve. They deserve high quality, and so that's where he's starting them with high quality, eco friendly options. Now, I wanted to get into more of the nitty gritty of manufacturing in China and the problematic issues it causes.
Do you use clean energy at your facilities?
So, no, I mean,
Okay.
it's China. China is very weird. So, for example, right now there are power cuts in China because China committed to a certain level of emissions every year, and until now they've almost surpassed them, and they only have like a certain amount. So all over China, they in all the industrial zones, they close the electricity for 3 days a week.
What?
Which means now whenever we produce, so I've changed a lot of stuff in the past month, just to deal with this
I can't
change
imagine
in the
how disruptive that is.
extremely disruptive. So what happens is everyone is like, okay, so if we want to like print, so we always print 24/7. And now it's just everything is a lot more intense. The hours that we do use electricity are like nonstop. It's not like before. I mean, it's probably energy saving in the end of the day because you have 3 days where nothing works, um, and then everyone is using the electricity that is being used to the maximum, so they don't waste. It's not like the machine is on and it's
Yeah.
wasted.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's
so
crazy though.
my industrial zone is the biggest one in China. So I mean, there's no way that everything is renewable energy
Okay.
or sustainable energy. It has to be coal-based. I'm assuming.
The next questions are actually from people from the Green Board Game Group. I told them I was going to be speaking with Herschel about his manufacturing facility, and so here they are. The first one comes from Carlos Flores.
He wanted to find out if there is a trend towards more sustainability in board game creation. What have you been hearing from your clients and publishers?
Oh wow, that's also an amazing question because I've actually spoke about it a few times on Facebook. Like I created a post in Board Game Design Lab just to hear what people think.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I should say it, maybe take it off if it's improper, but for example, UK and European people are a lot more aware of eco-friendly, and for them it's like very important. So when they hear about it, even if they like, wow, they're so happy to hear that, they can produce something and it's not going to have like a too bad of an effect. But then the American market is a lot more like, what is the word for it? A lot more
Suspicious?
suspicious and skeptical of the quality for
Oh, I
eco-friendly
know, and I
and
talk
how it
about it
will
on my
look.
channel.
Oh yeah,
So
so it's okay for
it's
me to
totally
say
fine.
that.
Yeah.
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 It's just about educating them. If there was a way to really educate them and to assure them
Yeah.
eco-friendly is even higher quality
Yeah.
than regular one.
Tim Eisner, he was asking about a non-plastic insert alternative.
Ooh. So that's also an amazing question. Thank you very much for that question. Yeah. So obviously you can do the paper insert, right? I'll give you as an example this game over here. So this game, it's a simple game. It has cards. It has but this is a paper insert, and we can do like so. many people will not do it, but for us, it's like we do it just because. It's like a
Mhm.
puzzle almost. We need
Yeah.
to kind of put together a puzzle of an insert. But this is paper, and paper can only be suitable for small games, light games. Um, if you want to go for a big game, you will need to have like corrugated cardboard. But the problem with that as well is with corrugated cardboard is that you can't really shape it so much. So it's more like you separating the box into four or into two. I can show you what I've done with another game. So I'll organize it. We have an insert that is like corrugated cardboard
Oh
on the
yeah.
side, and then we have the shapes with paper. So the inner shapes we like do it with foldable paper. So that's another option. But
Okay.
but I know his question. And yes, what you say his name was?
Tim Eisner.
Tim. So Tim, yes, I know I understand your question and I understand your concern because even paper insert or corrugated cardboard insert is not so efficient. What I'm trying to develop now, and that's like one of the things I'll do a little later when I become bigger, is simply make it from egg cartons,
Yeah.
but
Like the
thicker ones, like
like
very strong like carton, and you can mold
okay.
it however you want,
And it's
like
paper.
just like
Is it?
plastic, and it's paper. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's
Um,
genius. I'm really excited to
yeah, but
see
I need to
how
grow.
this will turn out.
If I were to, yeah, those are also because that I need to become big enough to go to the factory that makes them and say, okay, I'm going to give you enough orders every
Mhm.
year for you to develop for me all these new molds for that paper. Can I just add one more thing that
Oh,
is
absolutely. Yeah.
I think the biggest eco-friendly thing we can consider as consumers and as people, and this is something that China is really leading in. Um, so all shipments to Europe, all shipments to the UK, everything now can be done by railroad,
Oh,
and
wow.
not by boats. And that I think is a game changer for the eco-friendly, because when you use like these massive, 400 feet long boats, and they just go through the ocean with all their fuel pouring in. I mean,
Yeah.
that's an eco hazard that people don't even understand
They don't even
the
realize it. Yeah.
capacity of it. Yeah, because I live in China. I love the beach. I grew up on the beach, but for me, the Chinese beach is the most disgusting place you can go to, just
Hmm.
because it's freaking black. The sand is black.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to go into the water, and it's really horrible. And China, part of the thing that right now the current president is changing is he wants to build a more sustainable supply lines from China to Asia, to Europe, and the UK.
Mm.
Um, and I think that's a very, very big deal, and
So is
that's
that
the most eco-friendly thing. Yeah.
that's awesome. So is that something that is going to happen in the next year or so, or is it like they're already starting to put freight
Already.
on railroads and
Already,
stuff?
already. And it's all powered by electricity. Like
Yeah.
2 months ago, the rail lines broke down next to Russia. So I know goods were delayed for like a month.
Mhm.
But aside from that, I mean, it's faster. To support that, I also offer like free VAT and duty. So when you import your games into Europe or into the UK, you don't need to pay duty or VAT. And then the price, even though it's more expensive to ship, but the
Mhm.
total price is more or less the same. And it's a smarter option for small creators, and it's a lot more sustainable. If
Okay.
you are a massive, massive, massive publisher and you do like I'd say 2 containers a month, it's not feasible.
Hmm.
But for the smaller ones, it's cheaper. And
Gotcha. Now,
yeah.
is that something that recently changed? And what is it that changed exactly?
That's something actually it's been in for the past year and like for around a year now, around a year and a
Okay.
half. They finished building the lines all the way to the
Okay.
UK.
Okay.
So it used to be that they shipped to the Netherlands, and then from the Netherlands or Finland, they took boats to the UK. But now it goes all the way. I think the line goes all the way to Spain. So
Okay.
you can
Okay.
really ship everywhere in Europe.
That's awesome.
Very eco-friendly with electricity, like no fuel, no nothing.
Yeah.
That's a
That's
big
pretty
difference.
big. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for including that. I think that's a
Yeah,
really
because for
big
me, that's
transportation
the
is part of the whole issue with
yeah,
manufacturing
that's something
overseas.
that I feel also. Yeah, that because manufacturing using electrical power, I don't necessarily feel it, right? But with a boat, I mean,
Mm,
it's just enough for you to the port of Felixworth, I think, the port in the UK. You can go there
hmm
and just check the waters. Just check, see like 80, 90 ships
And you
harboring
can
next
just
to
see
the,
it.
yeah. And I mean that's a
That's
big
the
difference.
reality of the world, of the way we
Yeah,
function.
and
Yeah.
people and they're hiding it from people,
Yeah.
so people don't necessarily are aware of that disaster.
Well, I just wanted to thank you so much for being a leader in sustainability in manufacturing, especially in China, because there are parts of the world where there is more possible, there's more being done, and it's more common to see FFC. But in Chinese manufacturing, it's just pretty rare.
I
Months
hope I
from
was
now,
helpful. I hope it's
absolutely.
helpful.
Thank you so much
You're very
for
welcome,
talking to
Joanne.
me and sharing everything that you're doing at Hero Time.
Thank you for that time, for that
Yeah,
screen time. I appreciate that as
absolutely.
well.
So, in the next few weeks, I am going to be sitting down with another board game manufacturer based in Germany, Ludofact, who is known for their sustainability practices. If you have any questions for that manufacturer, please leave them in the comments below and I'll be sure to include them in my next interview. If you have any questions that you have for Hershel, please leave them in the comments below. I will make sure that he sees them and see if he would respond to them. And thank you so much for watching. If you are watching this, I can kind of assume that this is a topic that you care about, so I really appreciate it. I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.